All right, let's jump right in. We're about to unpack a massive, and I mean massive, time-sensitive opportunity in the world of AI. It's already created a bit of a gold rush, and we're going to show you exactly how you can get in on the action.
You know, in the tech world, some opportunities are like a wide-open gate that stays open for years. But others, they're just a tiny window. And that window can slam shut before you even realize it was there. What we're talking about today is one of those golden windows. It is just cracked open. And believe me, it's closing faster than you think.
So what is this explosive phenomenon? Well, it's called OpenClaw. And its launch wasn't just big, it was a shockwave that moved so fast it caught almost everyone by surprise. Just look at this timeline. It's absolutely insane. Late January 2026, OpenClaw launches. A mere 72 hours later, it has over 150,000 stars on GitHub. That is completely unheard of for a developer tool. Then, just a couple of weeks later, boom, OpenAI swoops in and acquires them, which is a massive stamp of approval, all while it stays open source.
So what exactly is OpenClaw? Honestly, the best way to think about it is Jarvis from Iron Man. It's your own personal AI assistant that you host yourself. It has a persistent memory, it can access your files on the internet, and you talk to it through the apps you already use every single day, like WhatsApp or Telegram. It is incredibly powerful.
But here's the catch. With all that power and that crazy explosive growth comes a huge problem. Security audits are showing that of the more than 135,000 active instances out there, a staggering 63% of them are vulnerable to attack. And that gap, that huge gap between popularity and security, that's where the business opportunity is hiding.
And that opportunity is hiding in plain sight, inside what users are calling a setup nightmare. See, behind all the hype and all the potential, there's this massive barrier to entry that's frustrating thousands of people who want to use it. I mean, this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? This is the kind of thing you see all over Reddit, all over developer forums. People are so excited by the promise of OpenClaw, but they get completely roadblocked by how complex it is just to get it running.
So it's really important to understand why it's so hard. This is not a simple one-click install. You have to get the exact right version of your software, set up a server from scratch, configure something called Docker, juggle multiple different API keys, and, most importantly, you have to manually handle all the security settings yourself. It's a 2 to 3 hour ordeal even for someone who basically knows what they're doing.
And inside that whole mess, there are 3 major roadblocks that just stop people in their tracks. First, there's Node.js version hell, where having the wrong version causes these cryptic errors that are impossible to figure out. Second, the installation just seems to hang, it freezes, and about 30% of users just quit right there. And finally, the big one, the WhatsApp linking nightmare. It's the #1 feature everybody wants, and it's also the #1 thing that fails. This frustration is exactly what creates the demand for a service.
Okay, so let's look at how all this frustration actually builds into a clear, really actionable business model. The solution is what we're calling setup as a service, and the playbook for it is surprisingly simple.
This table basically breaks down the entire business for you. You can offer 4 different tiers. There's a DIY accelerator for the tech-savvy folks who just need a good guide. Then, a managed setup where you do all the complex installation for them. The next level is a recurring, fully managed subscription for people who want a completely hands-off solution. And finally, an enterprise tier for businesses that need custom work and security guarantees.
And financially, this is a really attractive model. That DIY tier, it's a digital product, so it's almost pure profit. But even the more hands-on managed tiers, they have healthy margins of 65 and 55%. That's because you're selling your expertise and your time, and your overhead is incredibly low.
The potential for rapid growth here is very real. I mean, a solo operator could realistically hit over $1,000 in their very first month, and then scale that to over $8,000 by month 3. You just do that by combining the one-time setup fees with those recurring subscriptions.
So who are you selling this to? Let's make this really tangible and look at the ideal customers who are feeling this pain the most right now.
Your first customers really fall into 2 main camps. On one side, you have the tech-savvy freelancer. They see the potential, but they just don't have the time to become a server management expert, and they're worried about security and costs. Then on the other side, you've got the small business owner. They're way less technical, and they just want a solution that automates tasks for their team and comes with real human support.
And your marketing has to speak directly to those pains. For the freelancer, this pitch is perfect. It addresses the time sink, the security risk, and the very real fear of those runaway API costs that people have been reporting. It's a solution, not just a product. So, the market is new, the problem is clear, and the customers are there. How do you actually win? Well, it comes down to a few key differentiators.
First, speed. Your value is getting users from zero to a working AI assistant in minutes. Second, security. Lead with the fact that your setups are secure by default, which is a huge contrast to that 63% vulnerability rate. Third, solve the cost problem with tools like budget alerts. And finally, and this one is huge, offer real human support. In a market that's defined by technical frustration, excellent customer service is a powerful, powerful competitive advantage.
The opportunity is here, right now. It was born from the gap between a powerful tool and the difficulty of using it. But this phase won't last forever. As the official tools get easier to use, this window is going to close. So, the only question left is, what will you build with this information?